the Middle Class Holes Good Bad Movie Review. Alan is up, and he has picked a humdinger. Now, I do have a question because I looked this up. 54% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it totes the line, but I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt because when you said it, I was like, yeah, that is a really good bad movie. But Alan, you take it away and we'll go from there.
Yeah. I mean, so like you said, Mars Attacks is the film that I chose. Fucking, I don't know why I did that to myself, but I did it to myself. I watched it twice because the first time I lost fucking interest halfway through, and I've seen it before. But anyway, Mars Attacks, 1996 Tim Burton film. As a matter of fact, people didn't know that. Is basically an alien invasion spoof, and it really plays off like the cheesy 1950s like sci-fi fucking alien movies. Like that's kind of the premise of it. But I'll read to you what I think is the best synopsis because fucking Rotten Tomatoes did it best. Is a fleet of Martian aircraft surrounds the world's major cities, and all of humanity waits to see if the extraterrestrial visitors have, as they claim, come in peace. U.S. President James Dale, played by Jack Nicholson, receives assurance from his science professor, because, of course, we have a chief science professor in the United States, played by Pierce Brosnan. His name was Donald Kessler, and that the Martians' mission is a friendly one. But when a peaceful exchange ends in total annihilation of the U.S. Congress, military men call for full-scale nuclear retaliation, as they do. So, a star-studded fucking lineup here. Jack Nicholson, like I mentioned, Glenn Close, Annette Bening, Pierce Brosnan mentioned, fucking Danny DeVito, Martin Short, Sarah Jessica Parker, Michael J. Fox. I can keep fucking going. It's a really bad movie about an alien invasion, and the aliens almost win, but then don't. And I'll leave it at that. I think we're going to get into some nitty gritty. I just want to hear your guys' take on what I made you fucking watch. Please.
Jack Black, Natalie Portman.
Oh, Jack Black. Yep, that's right. I have notes.
Yeah, young Natalie Portman, by the way.
Yeah,
who plays
Jim Brown.
Brother. Yeah, that's right. Who plays a former heavyweight champion.
Yep.
Who works as a front door attraction / bouncer at Caesar's Palace.
He's like everything. He's just like they run him around doing. He's like a pharaoh outfit and fucking all types of goofy shit.
That's right.
But yeah, man, fucking the aliens come down. We put together a big welcome party out in the desert in Arizona. I believe we released some doves to mark the peaceful fucking interaction with this alien species, and that is apparently perceived as a threat. At which point, the fucking aliens start slaughtering humans.
I think they were going to slaughter us either way.
That's true. Yeah. That you could kind of see it in that. You know what I mean? Like it sounded aggressive. I feel like that was very aggressive act. But yes, I thought it was going good there for a while until they melted a dove mid-flight. And that's kind of when you knew it was fucking on.
So they didn't release a dove, a hippie. When they said we could, when it was pumped through the translator that the chief scientist had created, said we come in peace. He's like, they come in peace, and threw the dove up in the air. What I found funny about it is, after all that annihilation takes place, Pierce Brosnan then tells the president, Nicholson, he says, maybe it was just a misunderstanding. Maybe doves are volatile to the Martians. He's like, oh.
I also made a note.
We should bring them to Congress then.
I'm glad you pointed out that the chief science officer had made a translator. I made a note that a lot of the machines in the film had tiny turning satellite dishes, and I don't think that any of them had real purpose. But if you're making a sci-fi film, tiny turning satellite dishes really kicks up your fucking technology a notch. So, any of you amateur filmmakers out there, yeah, man, it devolves very quickly. They surround Earth. They start picking off major cities. After that, really, it just becomes a comedy of errors. It's like a montage of them, like they carve new faces into Mount Rushmore. They fucking like tip over the Eiffel Tower. Like
they go bowling with on Easter Island.
They go bowling with. I tried to write them all down. I was like, Jesus, this is ridiculous.
Oh, well, the Washington Monument, the Boy Scouts, it's going to fall towards them. They run away, and then the aliens actually try to tip it the other.
Tip it the other way.
Yeah, but bottom line is, I remember when Mars Attacks came out, and I was like, this just looks dumb. And then I'm watching it with older eyes. I got to tell you, I swear to God, this was the trigger for me. The cars that were in the movie, I was like, man, that looks like the cars that Tim Burton has in all of his fucking movies. I'm like, wait, is this a Tim Burton movie? And I'm telling you right now, as soon as I was like, oh, this is a Tim Burton movie, the entire like how I viewed the film changed 100%. It went from like, this is a shitty movie to this is super clever. Mm-hmm. Like it went from I don't really like it to I really like it. Yeah. Like all because I know that it's not supposed to be taken seriously. Then I started thinking, imagine Edward Scissorhands. Mm-hmm. Imagine if you thought Edward Scissorhands was like a Steven Spielberg movie. Like, what the fuck is this?
What the fuck is going on? Yeah. Yep.
Why is everything so weird? And then it's like, oh, it's a Tim Burton movie. Like, oh, this all makes sense.
Got it. Yep. Yeah.
So I feel like the context of the movie, if you know it's a Tim Burton film and you're aware of what he does, sort of like a Wes Anderson movie, not everybody's going to get it.
That's right. No, it's interesting you say that because I did not know it was a Tim Burton movie when I watched it in 1996 at the tender age of 10. I was just unaware. But when I saw it again, I was like, oh, yeah. I saw the Tim Burton flash up in the credits in the beginning, and I was like, huh, that makes so much more sense why I thought this movie was great, like growing up, because it's got that Edward Scissorhands, I think, is the perfect example. Kind of whimsical fucking, like, that's the third time today I've used that word. Fucking, like, it's carefree. It's crazy. Like, they're melting humans and, like, their skeletons turn to the color of their laser beams and shit. It's just hokey, but it's fucking great. And
that's right.
That's a star power in this fucking movie. Like,
well, I think he was at his zenith at that time. I mean, he just got done making Batman. He just made Edward Scissorhands. Like, I think this was a time where everybody was clamoring to be in, like, almost like everybody's clamoring to be in a Scorsese movie or a Tarantino movie. Oh, I can be in a Burton film. And so, I mean, fuck, dude, how many times has Jack Nicholson played two characters in one movie ever?
That's also true. I forgot he is the sleazy casino owner trying to fucking profit off of this whole thing.
That's right.
And keep
the president of the United States and a cheesy / kind of business tycoon-y, gangsterish Las Vegas.
It's like if Yosemite Sam owned a casino. Like that's the right. character that he plays. It's fucking ridiculous. It's great.
Who knows Jim Brown? Also, Michael J. Fox has a few lines in this.
Michael J. Fox and Sarah Jessica Parker are like a news couple. They're each anchors.
Right.
I was distracted watching Michael J. Fox, unfortunately, because like knowing what I know now, I was looking for his tics, and I could see all of them. Like, no, like I'm ruined by the diagnosis now. Like I see it.
Yeah,
that's fair. Speaking of Sarah Jessica Parker, as I want to get, that's a side note. So, her and Pierce Brosnan get abducted by the aliens and experimented on, and fucking, I believe they put her head on her dog's body because she had a tiny little chihuahua. And then I don't even remember what they did with Pierce Brosnan's body.
It was just separated, and his head was in a glass.
His head was separated, and like they professed their love to each other in these cheesy scenes throughout the film. But I love that like they do the really bad like spaceship crash into the water at the end, and they like make them kiss like it's some fucking serendipitous love fucking connection at the end of the world. It's like I think that's the part where I was like, oof, all right, this one's rough. This scene.
I think for me, I was actually amazed at how I was more attracted to Sarah Jessica Parker with the dog body than I was with the rest of her.
Yeah, that's reason.
Here's a good side note that I was, because I didn't get to watch it in its entirety. I got to watch like 100 bits on YouTube, not chronological. So I had to kind of put it together. And so Annette Bening, who's kind of this hippie who's dating the Las Vegas version of Jack Nicholson's character,
yes, correct, yeah.
who dies as he's giving a sales pitch to people, and he's too arrogant to evacuate town. And he's sitting there, this big crescendo of like, this is going to make us a bunch of money, and then they blow up the building. So he flies a plane. He's a pilot, of course, that because that makes sense. And what do? They solicit Tom Jones.
Tom Jones, that's right.
Who's to fly the plane. I mean, God, what writing?
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah. And that's when Jim Brown, like, he sacrifices himself. He goes out.
That's right.
And he just starts punching fucking. They have to gratuitously use Jim Brown to punch fucking fake aliens in their glass helmets as the plane gets away.
Right.
I do have to say too, Jim Brown has a coworker in the film. On IMDb, she is credited as Cindy, Byron's coworker. Her name is Janice Rivera, and she has the most phenomenal tit job that ever occurred in the early to mid 90s. Go back. I mean, I looked all over the internet to see if there was more than a sparkly bikini, and unfortunately, there's not.
Yeah.
But
her IMDb repertoire is a little low.
I also got this note. This note's a good one too. Fucking so like, alien stuff happens all over the world. The president fucking kind of retreats back into the bunker, which the bunker's like a War Games cartoon fucking like vault. It's nothing like anything that exists in the fucking actual White House. I'm fairly certain. He had a giant light up map with spaceships on it, like he was strategizing fucking space war. Like, it's preposterous. But I love that fucking the way that they infiltrate the White House is because horny ass Martin Short is coming back to the White House from like some event. And he sees a very strange, curvy. Yep, that's right. That's the walk. And fucking this very strange, curvy, fucking like 50s dressed woman with a bouffant and fucking like clearly an alien. Horns it up. Fucking invites her into the limo. Invites her into the White House. Fucking. That's how you lose a president, right there. It's just that's all it takes is a horny press secretary, and the fucking democracy crumbles.
I have VIP access. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
This is also when I wanted to note when Jack Nicholson's doing his last ditch effort to convince the Mars president, like, you know, can't we all just get along? He goes, Earth and Mars. And Earth is really big and Mars is tiny. Like, we could put them together. We could learn from one another.
Catch that part. That's
Earth,
really funny.
Mars.
Yeah, and then he fucking the alien extends he sheds a single tear. He extends a hand, and we're like, oh man, fucking look at this intergalactic peace. And then that hand fucking detaches and climbs around the back of him and stabs him through the fucking heart. And then as he falls backwards, that fucking hand is a flag that raises up with a Mars fucking flag on it. And they salute it and walk the fuck out.
That's right.
I gotta say though, I know, you know, the CGI is what it is, but I feel like he actually, like, from a cinematic standpoint, I feel like he actually made the most out of special effects that you can do, like mixing like tangible real world like explosions and things like that with this like probably like I guess green screen, because some of that stuff was real, like that building that Nicholson goes down in. That was a real implosion that they did in Vegas, and he used the real footage in the movie.
Yeah.
However, he layered all of that is actually, it still kind of holds up, which is strange.
That is very true. I was going to say, when you brought that up, like, I was immediately thinking, like, I watched this movie from 1996 and didn't immediately be like, oh, God, this is fucking cheesy. You know what I mean? Like, I rewatched, like, Independence Day, and I was like, ooh, that spaceship's bad. Like, you know what I mean? But this one really didn't give me, because, like, I think, like, Mercedes,
some of it was supposed to be bad, though.
Yes, it is supposed to be bad, but he used real-world shit, so, like, you didn't get, like, bad CGI fucking, like, flying saucers. You got, like, the little model ones on strings that he used. You know what I mean? So, like, it looks good for what the timepiece is. And, like, they didn't do crazy on the lasers. It's, like, it's the fucking generic laser sound. They're, like, red and green. Like, I think he did a good job. Like Ware said, Tim Burton. It ups the quality of this movie a little bit.
I think it downgrades the rating on Rotten Tomatoes, because I think some people watch it and are just, it's like when I keep harping back on this the Weird Al UHF, the Weird Al movie. Mm-hmm. Like, is that a good movie? Probably not.
Yeah.
But as it being the vision of Weird Al Yankovic, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
So is this a good movie? Not by itself, but as the vision of Tim Burton, it's a great movie. So I feel like maybe the score was, the weight was on the scale because I don't think some of the critics, quote unquote, got it, which always seems to be the case.
Yeah, that's true. And I'll give a fucking A+ to anything that ends with fucking Tom Jones singing "It's Not Unusual" while holding an eagle. Like, he was holding an eagle. There was like a deer in front of him. I don't know why he was in the fucking wilderness by himself, but
no, he was there with it was in Tahoe because that's where they went.
Yeah, they had like a safe house. Yeah.
And they had
let's not forget, was it one of Jim Brown's two sons?
Oh, yeah.
Who he didn't live with was Ray J.
It's Ray J. I wrote that down. I was like, oh my God, it's a fucking Ray J sighting.
Who had his own IMDb credit a couple years later with Kim Kardashian.
Young Ray J on my notes right here.
God, not his fault, man. Not his fault. That's the thing. That's why even I was shocked that like Ray J's Brandy's brother. Like he was just a guy living in L.A. Got into a couple movies because his sister was famous, and then just happened to be banging out this chick and
smashing the hot chick that was trying to get in with the celebrities.
And then her mom was like, "Show the world.
Let's show everybody. You know, Ray J's famous, right? Reggie Bush is next." No, hold on. I missed a couple. The French prime minister calls the president while he's in his war room, and he's like, "Hey, president, I got the aliens here. They're ready to do a deal." And he's like, "Get the fuck out of there." And by the time he even gets it out of his mouth, melted. French PM, yeah, done. They blew up Big Ben. That was another one I wrote down. And they visit and destroy the Taj Mahal, which is also pretty fucking impressive.
That's right.
Like they're all world monuments.
I think the other thing that I found kind of disturbing was I actually feel like the decision-making process by the politicians was probably the most accurate thing in the entire movie.
Oh, there is also that whole thing of like when we shoot the nuke at them. And the
that
like
was weird.
They send out that little balloon and it sucks up all the nuclear energy, and then the fucking one dude inhaled it, and it was just fucking ignorant. It was disrespectful.
Does it with it, yeah.
That was the only part of the movie where like I get it. He was like, "You guys ain't got shit on us," but it's just odd. I mean, I guess that was a time when weed was still real taboo, so it was like, "Hey, let's put a funny weed joke in here. He's gonna shotgun the nuke."
Yeah. You know, you just gotta play with the times, man. I think it was more so to just, well, not so much a weed reference, but a like, haha, humans are dumb. Alien. If we meet these kind of aliens, we're definitely dead.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure.
And I love that group of them that's walking around that town carrying the translator as they slaughter people through the town, and it just
don't run. We are your friends.
Yeah, don't run. We are your friends. Over and over again. So guys,
kudos.
Fucking Mars Attacks.